Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Winning a championship is an incredible achievement for any player at any point in their career. Lifting that all-important trophy with your teammates is the ultimate reminder that your hard work and perseverance throughout the season, as well as the sacrifices that you have made, were worth it in the end. Two of the most prestigious trophies to win, though, are the NHL's Stanley Cup and the KHL's Gagarin Cup. Winning just a single one of these once in your professional career is difficult enough. Yet, there have been just a handful of players talented and lucky enough to have their names engraved on both. With that in mind, here is my list of the top 5 players who have won both the Stanley Cup and the Gagarin Cup. At number 5, Oleg Tverdovsky. A former second overall draft pick by the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim in 1994, Tverdovsky played 11 seasons in the National Hockey League with 6 different teams, and scored 317 points in 713 games. In doing so, he was able to win the Stanley Cup twice, first with the New Jersey Devils in 2003, and then with the Carolina Hurricanes in 2006. After moving to the KHL for the remainder of his career at the beginning of the 07-08 season, Tverdovsky would score 80 points in 191 KHL games over 6 seasons, and would lift the Gagarin Cup in 2011 with Slava Kozlov. I don't know about you, but winning 3 championships in 19 seasons of professional hockey sounds pretty okay to me. He certainly could have done a lot worse, that's for sure. At number 4, Slava Kozlov. A third-round pick by the Detroit Red Wings in 1990, Kozlov won his 2 Stanley Cup championships with Detroit in 1997 and 1998, during his 18-year stint in the NHL, where he scored 853 points in 1,182 games. Kozlov moved to the KHL for the 10-11 season and clinched a pair of Gagarin Cup championships too. First with Slava Kozlov in 2011, and then with Dynamo Moscow in 2012, as he went on to score 97 points in 201 KHL games. At least if Kozlov and Tverdovsky ever decide to grab coffee together one day, they have their 2011 championship with Salavat to chat about, right? At number 3, Sergey Zubov. A 5th-round pick by the New York Rangers in 1990, Zubov also won a pair of Stanley Cups during his 16-year NHL career, as he was a key member of both the Rangers championship team in 1994 and the Dallas Stars championship in 1999. After scoring 771 points in 1,068 NHL games, Zubov moved to the KHL in 09-10, where he suited up for SKA St. Petersburg for the next 2 seasons, before hanging up his skates and calling it a career. Zubov wouldn't win a championship in either of his final 2 years playing, but he did lift the Gagarin Cup with St. Petersburg in 2015 as an assistant coach of the team. So technically he wasn't a player when he won it, but he still did win the championship as a member of the team. So I think it counts. At number 2, Pavel Datsyuk. A former 6th-round pick by the Detroit Red Wings in 1998, the Magic Man won a pair of Stanley Cup championships with the Red Wings in 2002 and 2008, during his 14-year NHL career, where he scored 918 points in 953 NHL games. Datsyuk moved to the KHL for the 16-17 season, where he has scored 147 points in 166 games to date, and clinched his first and only Gagarin Cup championship as the captain of SKA St. Petersburg in 2017. However, the 2019 KHL playoffs are currently underway, and Datsyuk's SKA team are still in the running, so perhaps he might pick up the trophy for a second time before the season is out. The KHL playoffs are like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. Now, before we get to number 1, I would like to give an honourable mention to Mike Keenan, who won the Stanley Cup as the head coach of the New York Rangers in 1994 and was the head coach of Metallurg Magnitogorsk when they won their championship in 2014. I figured an honourable mention would make the most sense here, since he didn't win either trophy as a player, but I wanted to put him somewhere on this list. So there you go. And finally, last but not least at number 1, Alexander Ovechkin and Nicklas Backstrom. I know, putting two players in one spot is kinda cheating, but the story of how each of these players came to earn their championships is almost identical, so it makes sense to put these two together. Both Backstrom and Ovechkin have been teammates and or line mates for the past 12 years as part of the Washington Capitals roster, where they of course won the 2018 Stanley Cup Championship together this season just past. However, their claim to a Gagarin Cup championship is a little more confusing. During the 12-13 lockout, both players took their talents to Russia and suited up for Dynamo Moscow, with Ovechkin serving as the captain of the team and Backstrom following him onto the roster a few weeks later. Both players did their job pretty well, as they both went over a point per game in the respective time that they were there, before leaving the team to return to Washington when the NHL season resumed. However, the pair's efforts certainly helped Moscow clinch their berth in the 2013 KHL playoffs, where Dynamo managed to go all the way and win the 2013 Gagarin Cup. Now, here's where it gets a little confusing. Since both Backstrom and Ovechkin never suited up in the KHL playoffs that year, it would be fair to assume that they wouldn't be credited with winning the championship and engraved on the trophy. However, Dynamo Moscow decided that they would engrave on the trophy the players who had suited up for them in at least 26 KHL games, or if they were on the team's roster at the end of the season. This meant that Ovechkin, who had played 31 games with the team, was all good, but Backstrom, who had only played 19 games with the team, would be left off the list. Following a large response from fans asking why certain players were being left off the cup, Dynamo Moscow received permission from the KHL to revise the list of their 12-13 champions, meaning Backstrom, as well as a handful of other players' names, were also engraved on the cup too. So whilst they never suited up in the playoffs for Moscow and played only a portion of the season for the team, these two Capitals forwards are technically Gagarin Cup champions, as their names are engraved on the trophy, meaning that via a technicality, they have both won the two greatest trophies in the hockey world. Aren't loopholes just the best? And there you go. Those were my top 5 players who have won both the Stanley Cup and the Gagarin Cup. What do you think about this list? Also, is there another list that you would like me to make a video on? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, or watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. A big thank you to Chris Gadsby, Kalesbro, Matt DeWild, Max Artis, and Nat Marlowe, as well as a huge thank you to Ryan Todd for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further and get a shout out at the end of every future video, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.